Hey guys, it's Jasmine and we are back with another pour. We're going to start off with some black Flow acrylic, and some Floetrol, and then we're going to add a little bit of water to thin it down at the end. So this is the black I'm going to use for my negative space, and I am going to add a tiny bit to the pour. And to give this a little bit of an iridescent shine, adding a little bit of Liquitex iridescent medium to that. So here's all the colors that I've got, and we have copper, Phthalo Green, Phthalo Turquoise, Prussian Blue, Interference Blue, Interference Gold. Both of those are golden colors. White, black. I use Liquitex iridescent medium just in the black. And then the creamy color you see there is a combination of mostly white, a touch of permanent brown, and a little bit of bronze. And then I've also used Sap Green. So those are base colors, and then I used white to make the more pastel kind of colors. So we're going to do a pour and some negative space. So I've got a 12 by 24 canvas that I've added some push pins to the bottom to give it a little bit of clearance to drip off the excess paint. And so I'm adding the black in the top left and bottom right corners, and then I'm going to spread that out over the edges using a palette knife. So you can kind of make your corners as big or as little as you want. Just kind of keep in mind that when you go to tilt, you are going to lose a little bit of it. So I tend to make mine a little bit bigger and kind of make an irregular shape to them, just because I know that some of it's going to get lost anyway. So there's my pour. Now if you want to recreate this, add more paint to your cup, because I ended up not having enough and I had to kind of make another pour a couple times to get a little more paint where I wanted it, so I didn't have to pour so much off and lose the areas that I really enjoyed. And as you do this, you'll kind of learn how to manipulate your canvas to keep what you want and pour off what you're not so fond of. So I'm really trying to keep that top middle part with the gold and the blue and the green, and I'm also trying to keep those copper bits, while I don't mind so much if I lose more of that really wide light blue part. So here's where I'm kind of creating another pour with the leftover paint that I've got. And when you pour up high like I'm trying to do, you're basically just giving it more weight when it falls into the cup, and it ends up mixing a little bit more. So there I'm adding some. And if you want your black or whatever color you use for the negative pour to kind of feather in to the middle, pour a little bit of your color over that negative space, and that's going to help it move a little more. I'm kind of moving things out of the way to try to give myself more room. And again, I'm trying to keep that gold spot, so I pour it, push it, and then kind of move it back. Let it go and move it back. And I was also really liking how the negative space was looking. So I wanted to keep that the way it was too. Now, the two artists I've watched most heavily to kind of learn and get answers to questions and things are Anne-Marie Ritterhoff and Karen Goodrich. I really like both of their styles. They're kind of, they don't run their mouth a lot, I guess. They're not silly the whole time. They're trying to answer questions, they're trying to teach, and they're trying to show you how to get different effects and how to manipulate the paint and why paint moves the way it does, or how to get more cells, things like that. So I highly recommend those two ladies. They're phenomenal. So I like to have the edges or the sides of my canvas, because these are wrapped canvases that I use, to have paint on them and be completely covered. That's just my preference. You don't have to do that. So I will kind of scoop up paint that's dripped off and use that to cover those edges and those sides. Not something you have to do, and if you like bare edges, by all means do what you do. That's just my preference. And don't worry about using the most expensive paint you can find. You don't need to. I buy stuff on sale. I buy stuff on clearance. I use coupons. So don't feel like you have to have a certain brand or a certain product to do this. It's kind of open to interpretation, and a lot of different things work. So I'm going to show you the finished painting at the end, and I will catch you guys later. Okay guys, here is the dry painting, and I have put 2 coats of polyacrylic varnish on this so far. It did something funny to it, and I'm not sure why. I'll show you that in a second. So first of all, I really love how this turned out. The copper is coming through here. Interference gold came through beautifully right there over the green. And I love the swirls. We got a little bit of cells right in here. I don't know if you can see that. There it is. All that cracking, the lovely cracking, was from the varnish. It was not from the paint. So I don't know if I put it on too thick or what, but it has cracking all the way through here. And then a little more over here. Some are really tiny. You can't even see that there. There it goes. Shine on the light. Some are really tiny, and some are huge, like these ones over in this black section. And it comes up all the way. I mean, it's huge sections of it, so I don't know if I'm going to try to do one more coat and see if that fixes it somehow. Not really sure. But I wanted to show you the finished product anyway, even if I pour over it, because I wanted to show you how it dried. So the interference I used is from Golden. I used gold interference and a tiny little bit of blue in here that you can see. I used blue interference as well. And what they do is reflect light. So it makes it look metallic or super shiny. And you can kind of see it over here in this light blue too. But anyway, I really loved how this turned out. So I'm really bummed that my varnish screwed it up, kind of ruined it. So I'm probably going to try these colors again. I think copper is like my favorite part of this whole piece, is that copper. So yeah, there's the finished piece. I really like the black negative space that I kept on the corners, and how the colors just kind of came together and did their own thing and swirled, and no silicone in this, just paint, Floetrol, and water. I'm not a big, huge cell person, so if you want more cells, add a little bit of silicone. But you do get some without it. I'm not really sure what causes that necessarily. I think it has to do with the Floetrol. But yeah, I am going to try it at some point. I just, to be honest, the ones I've wanted to try it on, I forgot to add it. So, all right, so there's that one, and I will catch you guys on the next pour. Have fun. Bye-bye.